Well, welcome back, ladies. We're here for our meeting at the table.
Yes.
With our special guest today, Delores Davis. And we're really welcome you for coming.
It's nice to be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this one for a while. So everybody knows a little bit about Delores, but nobody knows a lot about Delores except Delores.
Yeah.
Even Delores does it.
But, you know, Delores and I have known each other for quite a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we had a little conversation the other day that was really kind of fun and good and interesting. And her question to me was, what do you want to know about me? And I hadn't thought of it in those terms.
I think it'll make a more interesting discussion because I'll be responding to some of the things, and I can go from there. That's a good way to start.
I think that works really good.
So maybe the person that knows me the least might want to ask the question.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that would probably be me. I don't know anything about your history. So where did you grow up? I guess I would like to know that first.
You're talking past, away from the...
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Midwest, in Chicago, the big city. So I'm a northern girl. I have not been in the South at all except to travel to that famous Route 66 in the 50s, which I had a terrible time.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, but that's another whole story and conversation exciting to you guys.
Yeah.
Part two.
Part two.
Yeah,
yes.
part two. We're looking
Part
forward
two
to
will
that.
come, yeah.
Alicia, I know you're very curious about Delores.
No, not really.
Oh, that was very good.
She just drops you on your
I like truthfulness.
Yeah. No, but I know you've got some questions.
Do you have some questions for us to start the conversation with, Alisha?
Well, I mean, my questions were all centered around your writing, and I think that because your writing centers around your life, a lot of it, then that would be a good place to start.
Actually, thanks for asking. In thinking about coming here, I thought about more of my writing, and I think I learned a lot of things myself. First of all, I realized I've been writing over 40 years, which I was really amazed about. And I started because of the fact of a lack of knowledge on the part of my children. My husband died when my youngest child was 6, and the oldest child was 15, and there were 6 children.
Oh, my.
And when the 6-year-old was about maybe 17 years of age, I heard him and his sister talking about the fact, did Dad ever work? I was shocked because I knew the older children knew some things, but I wasn't sure. I didn't even think about the younger ones. My husband was a migrant laborer from Jamaica, and he worked very hard, as you know about migrant workers because of what's going on even in today's society. And I wanted to make sure that I let them know about their father before I forgot. And so I started writing. I was working at the university, and at that time, the computers were becoming more popular, and they wanted everybody to learn the computers, and I felt I was too old to learn the computer. And so I had a friend of mine help me to be able to do some of the writings, and then I found out that I was embarrassed that some of the things she had to write down that I was telling her about my life, so I better learn a little bit myself. So I started writing, and 4 years later, I finished my first book called what was it? It wasn't The Gift of Love, but it was the Gift. And it was in 1989 that I finished the first one. And since that time, I've been writing something every 2 or 3 years until just recently. And it was very interesting because writing, I found for myself, was almost like what I call a paper psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. And you're right, I did the first 12 books I wrote were about the family on different things, about roots and about sacrifice and about the blessing of women and the difficulties that might have been going on. And I had one called the 9 colors, the 9 shades of colors. No, that wasn't it. But anyway, it had something to do with 9 decades of color for myself. And so, as I said, about the first 12 books. And then after that, I started writing joke books and just different kinds of things. And I think it was 19, or maybe it was 2020 when I published my first book. And when I was 95 years of age, I did my first novel. I'm very proud of that.
You should be really proud. What was your children's reaction to your first book?
Surprise.
Did they know, or did you tell them when you were finished?
Yeah, my children have helped me along the way. I ask a lot of questions, and a lot of people give me a lot of responses one way or the other. And so the children are very proud. They're thinking about the fact Mama's this age, and she's doing this particular thing, and she's doing that particular thing. And so, yeah, they're very helpful in their own way. Unfortunately and fortunately, I've got a daughter that is very good as editing.
No, that's wonderful.
That's lucky.
Yeah.
Not if you're the one she's editing, it's not.
Are you suggesting she edits from a familial standpoint and not a professional?
I think she's editing because she can see a lot of things that I've made mistakes about. I keep thinking, I'm writing and they're reading, they can make the distinction. Only God is perfect, so I'm going to make mistakes. But anyway, that's how I started with my writing. And I find that it's very helpful to me as a paper psychiatrist when I'm having problems, when I'm feeling sad, and I try to write about all those different things.
So at what point did you decide to teach others to write a story?
As I began to write, and because I didn't know about the computers, I was going to different places asking people to do the printing for me or do the cutting or whatever necessary. And so many of the young people said, "Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's so good. I wish my mother would do that. I wish my father would do that. I'd like to know about their lives as children." And then I realized that that would be something that a lot of people would actually like to do and want to do. And I was working at a place in Bellevue. By that time, I had retired and had started being at a place where I was teaching seniors how to do the computer within 5 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And then there was a group of men that came in from Boeing, and they were trying to take over the group and tell people what to write and what to teach. And so I decided to create a class that nobody did, be independent and unique, and it would be telling your story of writers, seniors writing about themselves. And I would teach the computer, and I would teach about the class, writing your own life story. And by doing that, I wound up starting it. And at one time, I was teaching 2 classes a year. No, it was 3 classes a year.
Wow.
10 people in a class, 6 weeks for each class, and everybody wrote a story per class.
You were busy.
And
That's
so
wonderful.
they
That's
wound
amazing.
up having a lot of stories at the end of the 6 weeks, and it was something they were able to show and feel proud about. Just recently, I was teaching a class, and I'm very happy to say that this one particular person gave me a plan at the end of it, and what it said was, "Thank you so much for bringing me out. God must have sent you to me, because I don't feel as depressed." It's amazing what writing can do to be able to get things out, and that's how you get paid, and I just feel so good. So I started in 1920, and I've been doing it ever since.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Thank you
Wow.
very much.
Yeah.
So writing did a lot more things than I expected it to do.
Billie, what do you want to know from Delores? You've known her a while.
Oh, well, I want to hear about the most recent book that she's written, actually.
Oh, the most recent one.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the most recent one was my first novel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was called Echoes, Echoes of a Dream Deferred.
Very nice.
What was interesting on that, because I didn't think I had the imagination to be able to create something fiction out of my head. So that's why everything I had done was really basically from reality based or things I had read. But to be able to get something from out of my head. But then a friend of mine said, "Why don't you write about what you want it to be?" Because I'd always wanted to be a lawyer. And so I wrote a story about what might have been. And that's what it was, the dreams of dreams deferred. And this was a lady that was sitting on a bench in a park. And a lady came up to her and was talking to her. And she said, "It's such a beautiful day. And I was just thinking about what life might have been if I'd have been what I wanted to be." And the story's about what it was.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I haven't even cracked the cover on that yet, and now I'm ashamed of myself.
Well, fortunately, I've got friends that bought it because of me, more so because of the book.
No,
But maybe if I start telling about what the book is, I might sell some more
it's
books.
just
So
sitting
no.
there because I've been reading too many politics. I need to read your book.
It would be
Yes.
different than politics, I'll
Yes.
tell you that, yeah. And what's nice is because my son was a lawyer, and so he was able to help me in a lot of the parts of the book.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a good, and then I had a little bit of me in there too, so.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
that's
sure there was
wonderful.
a lot of you
I
in
think
there.
that actually would be something we would all reflect on, because all of us have paths that we did not go through. You know, we did not follow the path that we might have originally wanted to do.
And that's what I was hoping that they would do in the book, that they could think about what their life would have been if they'd gone ahead, done what they wanted to do.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny that Billie says that because I think we all have that. I mean, Talin, what did you think you were going to do?
I thought I was going to be an investigative journalist, or
that would be
an investigative journalist, or a war correspondent. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay. That would have been very interesting too.
it would have
Yes,
been. It would have
yeah.
been a whole different. And
Yes.
actually, lately, I have my 40-year high school reunion is coming up, and I have been reflecting more on the things that I could have done.
Yes, yes.
But you know, it worked out.
Well, you still can be doing part of a writing type, reporting type of things.
Yeah.
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 Very interesting.
She certainly has a voice for it.
What about you, Alisha? Did you do what you wanted to do, or was there something else?
No, I did absolutely what I wanted to do.
Wow.
That's
And
such a blessing.
She was an RN.
Yeah.
It's
I
such
said
a
that when
blessing.
I was in high school to my high school counselor that I would go into nursing, and he said, "Why would you do that? That's such a waste of your time and your talent and
Wow.
your intelligence,
Really?
and you should really go into medicine." And I said, "No, I want to have a life of my own without having call at night." But I still want to
medicine.
help people, and
Yeah.
and so I did what I wanted to do, and I have absolutely no regrets. It was the best life I could possibly have.
Did you work in Seattle?
Well, the last 8 years of my career were here in Seattle, but I was fortunate enough to be in Germany for 4 years of that, and Japan for 3 years
Wonderful,
of that, and
wonderful.
and I was working with our Department of Defense as a civilian nurse over there, and I traveled to scores of countries, and I've seen scores of castles,
Your
and
stories would be so interesting.
it was just very,
I'm just sure
very
you've
wonderful.
written some of them down.
I've not written any of them down, but they're all in my head. They're all in
Okay.
my. I do
We'd like to
journal.
have it on paper.
Well, I'm a mental health nurse by profession, so of course I have about 30,000 journals at home.
Yeah.
We
There you
could get together. I was a social worker at the University Hospital.
You guys have
Yeah,
lots
yeah.
in common.
Yeah. But no, I would love to be able to read your stories as you take my class on writing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
What about
right.
you, Billie?
Well, when I was younger, I thought I would want to be a creative writer, but I quickly realized that probably wasn't going to pay the bills. So then I wanted to be an architect. Unfortunately, I'm not really good at math, and at that time at least, math was a pretty major requirement for architecture. So I ended up just being a clerk, typist. Yeah.
You said that wrong.
No, it's not.
Not I was just.
Well, okay. Yes.
All right. How about you,
Me,
my friend?
when I was growing up, there were a lot of choices for us growing up. That what they would teach you could be a housewife, a nurse, a teacher, and that was about it. But I always thought teaching was going to be really good, and then I didn't go to college, which I probably still regret in one way or another. And then I became a hairdresser, which was hysterical to most people who know me, but I was very good at it. But the other thing I discovered in that realm took me the rest of my life is because if I'm able to learn something, I'm able to teach it. And so I've taught many things over the years to many people. I was a union activist, so I taught contract law and how to deal with contracts and grievances and how to settle things and negotiate. So you get to the same place sometimes in a different ride.
A lot of times you do. And you get to sometimes places that you didn't expect to, and you say, thank you, Jesus, for that.
Yeah.
And other times you get away from things and you say, thank you, Jesus,
Well,
for
the
that.
person in the passenger seat is going to arrive even though they're not driving, even though someone else is driving. You're
Yep.
still going to arrive
Right.
someplace.
One
And
of
then
the-
it's still an adventure.
One of the other things that Dolores and I talked about yesterday a little bit was I wanted to know how she handled the first year after her husband passed away. I know that he was ill and he was young, and she had 6 children. And I had a grandmother who was a young widow at 29 with 8 children, one 6 months old and one 11. And I always wished I had known what happened. And I asked her that question.
And what did I say?
You said it was difficult and a lot more.
Yes, it was difficult, and I think to a degree you're blessed because you forget it. The process was more difficult than the first year, I think. My husband first of all, he died when he was 43, so he was young. And that's interesting because a lot of times we don't think the people in their 40s are young, but that's another class I've got to teach about aging and so forth. But he had been in the hospital off and on because of heart trouble. I guess he was always very, we thought, healthy. He had something like yellow fever as a child, and so that had affected his heart. And of course, he worked in these tobacco fields, and all the other things were terrible. But so he was in the hospital off and on. This particular time, he was in the hospital for about 10 or 12 days, and I went there to pick him up to bring him home because he was being discharged. And the 6 children were at home waiting for him to come home. And I went to see him in the hospital to bring him back, and he was in the process of dying.
Oh.
And the people are around there taking care of him, and I was sitting in the nurses' lounge. I won't go through all the difficult, painful things that was going on, but he did die, unfortunately. And I went into the room. It looked beautiful after he passed away. All the pain was gone that he had all the times. And I was in the room in the hospital later on, getting ready to get up to go home and tell my children that were waiting for their father that he had died. And it was very difficult for different reasons. But I did get there. But for some reason, I felt that I could take care of them. They were my children. I was going home, and I was going to be responsible. And when I did get home and did tell them, of course, they had all kind of reactions for different ones, but one of the things I thought would help, which may later on have not been a help, was to say that he's without pain. So we don't want to go ahead and feel that bad because he's without pain. At least he's okay. They needed to have the opportunity to be able to grieve. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking that that would help them. As I said, this is something I don't necessarily regret, but I think of it in a different kind of way. So that was there, and I still have that feeling right now. So to think about what happened that first year, realizing the oldest one was 15, the youngest one was 6, they each had their own kind of things, and people were trying to help me. Going down the aisle to the church, one of the fellows that was the pallbearer said, "Dolores, you're going to be okay. All you need to do now is get another man."
Whoa.
He was so wrong.
How'd that work out?
I didn't remarry. Very few people wanted to be dealing with a person with 6 children unless they already had 7 themselves that they wanted you to help out, and I didn't have that desire. Mm-hmm. Plus, I had a teenage daughter, and I did not want to have any man around from that standpoint, making any kind of chance.
Yep.
And so that
Smart.
first year, again, I had one problem. Not one, but a couple of problems. One of the things was that some people said, well, don't make the kids seem that they got to take care of you. So do things and don't just sit around feeling bad. And so I went ahead to do things. So I took up learning how to do a car, to change tires, to be able to do oil.
Wonderful.
I learned about doing sewing, so I made my own clothes and my kids' clothes. And I did a variety of different kind of things. Because this person, because I was still working, and this person said that the kids would feel that they have to take care of you and feel obligated. And I did not want them to feel that way.
Right.
The result was, later on when they got older, they said I was never home because I'd gone out. So no matter what you do, there's something there. But
Yeah.
in a way, that told you what that first year was about.
It did. It
you know.
told me a lot, and it made me see probably what happened with my mom's family, because she was the 6-month-old, so she had no memory of anything.
Yeah. Well, my mother died when I was, what did I say?
2.
I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell you, my husband also is an only child, and his father died when he was 3 years old.
Wow.
So my kids had no brothers or sisters
Or
or
cousins
uncles
or anything,
or
which I
aunts or
think-
uncles. Yeah. So it's just me responsible for them.
That's sort of a bizarre anomaly for
Yeah,
a
for two
family.
singles, two only to marry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even though, a lot of times families are distant from one another, just by geography. So you don't always know each other, but you know of them and who they are and different things. But in your case, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
then also, I mean, as long as you feel that you have somebody, even out there, but my kids were scared to death that something was to happen to me because they wouldn't have anybody.
Right.
But there was an aunt.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's good.
That lived here.
But fortunately, 6 months ago, I had 6 children in their 60s, so they all made it.
Can you imagine 6 children in the 60s?
Yeah, 6 children in their
Wow.
60s. So,
Wow.
so I'm happily alone
That's
now.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Are you an only child?
Am I an only child?
Uh-huh.
No, by no means.
Okay.
My mom had 3 girls and 3 boys. I'm the youngest of the 6.
Okay. 3 girls and 3 boys.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
What about you?
I am an only child.
Oh, are
And
you? Okay.
I'm an only child, but I am not a lonely child.
Very good.
Yes,
Very
I
good.
never. My mother wrote in my baby book, up until I was like 10 or something, probably. But there's one little line that Talin likes to play with other children, but then she needs to come home and spend time alone. So I've always been very.
My youngest
Yeah.
child, I think, was happily alone.
Yeah, I've never had a problem being in my own space by myself for
Yeah.
long periods of time.
I had 4 boys and 2 girls, and it's amazing how different each one has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Billie?
I'm the oldest of 4, but I was an only child for the first 6 years of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, I was begging my mom to have another baby.
Oh, is that right?
Because I thought it would be a playmate. And then when my brother came along and just was this little crying thing, I was very disappointed.
This was not like baby dolls.
That's not the same.
No.
And you, Diane?
Well, interestingly enough, I had an older sister who was 14 years older than
Wow,
me.
you were an only child.
Right? No. And then I have a sister older than me and a brother younger than me, all within 35 months.
Oh.
And then my older sister was married and having babies at a very young age. And so my oldest niece and nephew are 3 and 4 years younger than us, so they were just 2 more kids in the house. So it was like there was 5 of us a lot of times.
So you had a lot of people in the house to play with.
Always in our
Yeah.
house.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So you've become the interviewer.
She likes that.
I love how the tables have flipped on us here. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, that's what they said was a podcast. They didn't say it was an interview.
Oh,
Right. It's a conversation around the table.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So earlier, though, you mentioned also that you paint.
Oh, yes. One of the things that was a surprise to me, I also brought my book called The Upside of Aging. One of the things that surprised me was how creative you become as you age. And I didn't anticipate or expect that. So as I did some things and felt that because all of my life I think I wanted to change. Even when I worked at the university for 20 years, I changed different departments every 4 to 5 years. So it seemed like I have been like a butterfly going from one place to the other. And so as I retired and I wound up doing certain things, I got interested in the next thing, and then I got interested in the next thing. So coming here, I started off with the writing class. Then I guess maybe because, I don't know, of the craft places that you had here, I got involved with crafting.
Oh, yes.
And I did a lot of quilting.
Yep.
And I was involved with that for about 3 to 4 years going. And I didn't know that people even did cruises as much other things about it. And of course I was interested in the African material. And so I did a lot for about 2 years. Then the machine broke. The sewing machine. And instead of wanting to fix it, because everything I do I want to give away in a way.
Yeah.
And so unless I'm going to give it away, what's the purpose of going ahead and creating it? I don't just want it to hang up. So I stopped with the quilting because I was buying materials and I had all this material. And I said, well, what can I do now? And one son said, well, what about painting? Because they've always told me about writing. And so for one time I was writing a book for the great-grandchildren, and was they wanted me to do it in my voice. And so I was thinking about doing a sound writing. As I got older now, I know I'm beginning to forget words. So audiobook is what they were telling me. And so I bought the sound equipment, but I never used it. But I did go ahead and think about the painting, and I had friends that had this particular studio, and I think that they got gifts. You can give a lot more gifts on painting than you can on crafting. So I was getting a lot of gifts for Christmas having to do with painting. And so I took classes on painting at the Berean Community Center, and I booked books and I did things online. And I didn't feel that it looked good and did good, but I tried to give some to my different family members when they came around. And I was surprised which ones they liked. And I still feel when people say something is nice, it's because they're being nice. I can't, because I don't see the nicest. We never judge ourselves in the same kind of way, you know.
Right.
And so I did that for a while, for about 3 years. And then I went back to my writing again. And I was thinking that I was able to get fumes because I like acrylics.
Yeah.
And I think I was getting headaches
yeah.
and so forth because of not enough fresh air from where I was from that standpoint. But I still hope to go back to some drawing or paintings.
Yes.
But the writing seems like it just comes every now and then. I'll think about something. And I said, that'll be a good one.
All right.
And I said, well, I think the kids are tired. There's nothing they don't know. They think they don't know.
no.
Yeah.
But I thought about my spiritual journey. I don't think anybody knows that. So I'm writing about that now, too, from that standpoint.
Speaking of writing and new writing, why don't we talk about your latest book a little bit?
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
Oh, this book here?
Yes, this is the one that you brought to the class, and it's for everybody. It's called The Upside of Aging. And I believe that there's going to be a little bit more than the book included in The Upside of Aging. So you want to talk to us about what your next project do you think is going to be?
Well, my next project, right now, I'm thinking about teaching a series of classes on aging. In fact, at the group that I my last group today on the writing life stories, I was talking to them about what they thought and what name should I give them. A gift of longevity, a gift of aging versus old, because I really believe that there's so many people that have such negative feelings about old and about aging. They don't see the positives. In fact, when I talked about the fact of writing this book several years ago about the positives of the upside, they said, is there a positive? What is the upside? They don't really see it. And this discussion I was having today I really almost got into an argument because nobody wants to be called old. They think about seasoned, elder, anything that they can think, but old. And so even this person, after she was talking to me about it, she said, well, I'm not going to be old. I'm not old. And I said, what is old?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's been bringing out a whole lot of things. If you go to a greeting card store and you look up birthdays, you're never going to find any birthday cards for older people that are not putting the older people down.
Right.
All of them are negative.
They're not-
Humorous cards.
Unless they're spiritual
Right.
or religious, all of them are making jokes.
Yeah.
They're also making older people look funny, and of course more women than men.
Of course.
And how can you, and very few people look forward to the aging process. And I'll find out whether I'm right or wrong, but when you talk to somebody about being older, there's so many people that are not happy. They wish they were younger. They want to be able not to tell their age. They want to be able to go ahead and talk about their illnesses, about what doesn't happen, what they have to do. And a lot of that's real because of the way other people treat people. And so they think it's a compliment to be able to say, oh, you don't look your age.
Yeah.
But,
We always feel young is better than
and
older.
with the way that the lotions and the creams and the whole beauty industry has come across to make you get rid of those fine lines. I was watching something, and there was a woman, I think it was on Instagram, she said, I'm 55. I look exactly 55. I do not need to be better than 55. And she just was owning it. It was really neat.
It's very neat, you know, but at the same time, most of us feel that way, and that's why we buy those things, because of the fact sometimes it's to get a job, sometimes it's to keep a job, sometimes it's to be able to feel better from that standpoint. It's for all different type of reasons. But anyway, what I wanted to do was to go ahead and consider a possibility of not lectures, because that's not good, but a series of discussions about the upside of aging, the gift of longevity, especially in a place like this, because so many people seem to feel that being old is so bad. They all got a lot. And if we're having health problems, it's normal not to feel that great.
Right.
And you do have challenges. But I remember somebody told Gloria Steinem that you look so good, and they always say for your age, but they said that you look so good, you don't look your age at all. And she said, honey, this is the way 85 years look.
Look, you got that right.
And so, in a way, I'm very proud to be able to tell people next month I'll be 97.
And that's
Wow.
fabulous.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a little funny anecdote before we wrap up today. But a number of years ago, I was going to arbitration school, and we were in a dorm at University of Oregon. And my roommate's name was Diane. And there were 2 other women and then 20 guys. But anyway, Diane used to refer to old people as raisins.
Oh, my gosh.
Hang on. But before the weekend was over, she said to me, she says, when we're old, we're never going to be raisins. We're only going to be raisinets.
Okay, cool.
I wish you'd have said grapes.
Yeah, anyway. I can't thank you enough for coming here today, Dolores.
Well, thank
this
you
was
for
a
having
delight,
me.
and I
so
hope you
much.
will come back again because there's lots more stories from you. We named this Arrowhead Anthropology because anthropology is all about stories, and we all have stories. And hopefully there'll be many more that come to this table in the not-too-distant future, but we would love to have you back.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a pleasure. And it's a good thing to be able to meet every one of you all. And I think that this is a fantastic opportunity. I'm so glad you all are starting this because, as you said, there's all kind of people here, and they all have stories to tell. And actually, I think that we don't truly understand how good it is to know about somebody else, because that helps you to feel good about yourself a lot of times. So thank you for starting
Absolutely.
this. Thank you for keeping it up.
Thanks,
And thank you.
Alisha and Billie, for showing up. And John, we can't thank you enough.
Yep.
Thank
We
you,
couldn't do this
John.
without you, John.
And we'll see you back at the table in about 4 weeks.
All right.
Bye.